Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC, a South African derby between the Bulls and the Sharks. Now, lately, every game that's taken place between South African sides has been close. I feel like this one, the Bulls come in as heavy favourites, so perhaps it won't be as close as anticipated, but that does not take away from the Sharks side. They have got some brilliant talent there. Yes, they may be missing a few Springboks, but this is still a side that can get the job done if they play well. And hopefully, it's going to be a close game to close out the weekend for ourselves. But looking through at the Bulls starting lineup, it is Jan Hendrik Wessels, Johan Rubela, and Wilco Louw as the front row for them. Wilco Louw, the door's wide open. I mentioned about how Frans Malherbe hasn't been in his best form, which does bring the opportunity for someone like a Wilco Louw to get some more minutes once we do get around to those international games. Johan Rubela, he's a fantastic player, looks extremely realistic in Rugby 25, which was recently released, and something that their man does extremely well is a rolling maul. And the Bulls, they've got a big forward pack. Yes, they're missing a couple of their normal players in that department, but still strong enough to be able to, if they get close to the line, punish the opposition. Ruan Vermaak and JF van Heeren will be the locking duo with Mako van Staden, Ludwig and Nassim Carr as the number 8. So no Cameron Honeycomb in terms of the starting lineup, which is a massive hit for the Bulls as he has been outstanding for them in recent times. And Bros Papier alongside Willie Leroux as the 19 combo. Honestly, Leroux, for me anyway, at this current point in time, is the best 10 option that the Bulls have got that it's not supposed to take away from Johan Goosen, but Leroux just seems to have so much control from that fly half jersey, and having Devin Williams at the back seems to be a nice combo that they have been working on as of late. Harold Foster and David Creel in the midfield, Sergio Peterson and Kane Moody out on the wings, and like I mentioned, Williams slotting in as the fullback. Here as well, looking through at the starting lineup for the Sharks, they have got Mfuthuku Machunu, Bongi Umbanambi and Trevor Nakanye as the front row. So 3 men that have had a Springbok opportunity in relatively recent times. Trevor Nakanye, it's been a bit longer, but he is still world class. We'll be hoping for a big performance here. In terms of that locking duo, it is Corne Ral alongside Jason Jenkins, then Mavaseri at number 6, Vincent Chichuka at 7, and Pepsi Buthelezi back in that number 8 jersey. We've seen him floating amongst the loose forward trio, but 8 I feel is where he can be extremely strong. And without Cameron Honeycomb on the other side for this match, I feel like he will find even more success than if Honeycomb was there. Grant Williams, the starting 9, sensational player, partnering up with Sia Masuku in that 10 jersey. Lucanioam back at 12 alongside Lorenzo Julius. And then out on the wing, Ethan Hooker, Yapinka out on the other, and Jordan Hendrickse at number 15. So those are the starting lineups. In terms of the chat, we have got in the chat, Anna has said the Bulls. It's going to be a hard day. And come on, Sharks, you can do it. Another Bull's going to smash them, mate, says Steve. And we might be missing a few box. Are you kidding, Amish? Says Steve. No, both teams are missing a few Springboks. I meant what I said. What do you make of the All Blacks? So in Man United, Amish? Never knew about it, to be honest, but it seems like a big entity to go after. I don't know whether that's through the sponsors or what the go is there, but interesting choice from the ABs. And hi guys, help me. I want to see the live stream. What can I do, guys? So depending on where you are in the world will depend on the options that you have got. For South Africa, it's mainly Supersport as the leading option. If you're in New Zealand, TVNZ Plus actually has this game free to air. And if you've got a VPN available, then you can perfectly set yourself up there. And we have got there, I listen to you from Clarence. And evening, Hamish, says Josh Pike in the chat as well. But we will quickly look through at the benches for these two teams. For the Bulls, they have got Achafana Merva, Gerhard Stennekamp, and also Klopper as the 18, Kirsten Gourmedi as the other 2 forward replacements with Zach Berger, Chamberlain, and Dayanti as the number 23 for the Sharks. In this match, they have got Bester, Dreyer, and Jacobs, Labaskachne, and Potgaita, Davids, Francois Fenta, and then also Williams. So they are missing a lot of players here, the Bulls as well as the Sharks. I'd say that the Sharks probably a little bit more undercooked in terms of the options that they had available for this game, but that doesn't mean that they won't come out firing. Sometimes those more developmental teams are the ones that are just that little bit more hungry, and I hope that's the case for the Sharks. In this match, their last performance was actually the 26th of January. It's up against Cardiff, and they won it 42 points to 22. The week prior to that, a dominating performance from Bordeaux that got them a 54-point victory over the Sharks. For the Bulls, a narrow victory over the Stormers, beating the Lions on the 26th of January, and then they were victorious over Stade Francais. So actually a 3-match winning streak at the moment for this Bulls side, looking to continue moving up the table. And currently they find themselves in third. Now, I will mention there's been a slight update to this table since it was put up there, and that is the fact that the Lions now find themselves in 10th and the Stormers find themselves in 9th. So 2 South African sides just outside of the top 8. In this game, we've got 3 versus 4. Both teams slightly less games in some regards than the opposition, but by the end of the weekend, those other teams would have played the extra game too. We have got the high all as well. Got the Sharks here, Jean and George Bell out for the season. That is a big hit for the Crusaders, definitely because Brodie McAllister, they did end up switching him out. Of course, he's gone to the Chiefs now. There was also Noah Hotham. Is he injured for the season, Manny M, or is he going to be all right? Warren Gatlin finally quit. He should be next Wales boss. I think they've already got a new guy at the moment, but whether or not he lasts could be a different story. Hello, all you lovely people, says Arthur Harrison. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Are you all kidding? Bulls missing more box in the pack than the Sharks. Don't fall for all this nonsense smashy talk. Says Eric, yeah, like we mentioned earlier on, we actually said it quite a bit throughout the Lions Stormers live stream. Like, the Bulls are still missing a lot of players as well. But in terms of like the headlines they've been saying about the 19 injuries or so that the Sharks team has got, the Bulls, they are also a little bit under what you would normally see, but they are still considered favourites for this game by quite a heavy margin. So, you know, they should still be able to win it. They're at Loftus. That gives them that bit of the advantage as well. But I think both sides, they would have wanted to go with different teams heading into this match in an ideal world. But sadly, rugby does not have ideal situations sometimes. You got to deal with what's in front of you. And both of these sides still have fielded relatively strong teams for this round. Eric, well done. You picked up on my humour, darling. Go the Bulls, says Steve. We have got there, hi Hamish from Durban. Come on the Sharkies, says Brian. And we have got there in the chat, not sure about Nathan, Noah Hotham, says Manny. But yeah, a couple injuries picked up in that first round of the competition, sadly, for Super Rugby. That count will continue to go up as the comp does wear on. This game, hopefully we can avoid injuries in that regard because there have been so many throughout the last few weeks. But we're only about 7 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Do, of course, let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be winning this matchup. Arthur with the donated gifted membership as well. Greatly appreciated, mate. It's great to have you here on the channel again. But for me, like, even with the players missing, I'm still going Bulls. Because the Sharks, they are missing quite a few. Grant Williams, I think, will be a bit of X factor in that 9 jersey. Lukanyuam alongside Julius. That is kind of the veteran and the inexperience coming together for this contest. And Jordan Hendrickse, I think him at the back could be very handy for the Sharks. Not having Ox, not having Etzebeth. No, those type of names do hurt you big time. Not having Mapimpi, no Andre Esterhazen. That list, Apalele Fasi could go on. But for the Bulls, they are also missing their fair share. Like I mentioned, Cameron Honeycomb, that man, to a certain extent, of course this is going to sound harsh, but it's not meant to, but he was the main reason the Bulls won their last game up against the Stormers, because he did absolutely everything he could to get them that win. And he even got injured near the end of the game and kept playing. Now, that might have done him more damage than good, but he's just the type of player that can be the X factor for the Bulls that they need, and then partnered with the form of Willie LaRue, which is increasing week in, week out. And All Blacks seem to be cursed with injuries, with Satiti and Bell. I wouldn't say they're cursed with it, like that's 2. There's a couple other guys, of course, currently dealing with the injuries, but like all teams are cursed with injuries at the moment. Just look at these 2 sides. There are massive numbers missing. And we have got there a tough game for the Sharks. But there's always hope, says Lilia B. And the Bulls, says Anna. And the Bulls 37 to the 15 of the Sharks. That's the prediction from JD. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to put in those predictions into the chat. I don't know why I put that one up. I think I was meant to take away the Arthur one. But yeah, the Bulls 37 is what Anna thinks as well. Everyone picking 37 for the Bulls here by the looks of it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Normally what happens when you do have a few absentees from the teams, it means that there is a lot more space. There's a few miscommunications that can then lead to a try-scoring fest. Now, we didn't see a bonus point for the Lions from that last game, only receiving the 4 rather than the 5. And what was the final score for the Lions versus the Stormers? In the end, the Lions were able to win it by the 7, 30 points to 23. So the Stormers did extremely well, I feel, to get back into a position of receiving that bonus point. But, yeah, still points out there on the field for both of those sides in that regard. And 25 for the Bulls, says Matthew. 40 points Bulls, 28 Sharks, says Ruth. So a high-scoring one in that regard. Sharks by less than 7. Let's be optimistic. Says Lilia B there too. I do hope it's a close game. Just because if it's split by about 20 points, it's not as fun. We want to have that nervousness going into the final moments. Edge of the seat kind of rugby. We had that multiple times with the Super Rugby opening round. 2 games split by only 1 point. Few others split by less than 7. Well, I'm happy for the Lions, says Jean, in there too. And yeah, the Lions, like I talked about it at the time, it's a fantastic win to get, but I also feel they should have got the bonus point, and I don't think they were aggressive enough at times. So it might hurt. Rather support a team that needs the URC placing than the Sharks who are done for this year's period, says Steve. Right, so rather support the team that needs the UR placing, but these teams are 4 and 3, so like they're both in with a good shot. Like the Sharks, even if they were to, let's say, lose their next 3, 4, 5 games, they're still probably going to be in the top 8. As you can see, they're 35 points for the Bulls, 29 for the Sharks. Like dropping quite a few games in a row would be the only thing that takes them out of this top 8 contention, and I feel like they're going to be right up there. So even with these injuries, those players will return. These young guys will get more minutes under their belt and get stronger. And of course, still this game though. This is the big one, because if they win this, they close the gap with the Bulls. The URC standings. Hi all, says Colin. Welcome in. Hi Craig, says Claudette there. And hi Claudette, says Craig. A mutual greeting by the sounds of it. Did Claudette say something earlier, or how did Craig know that Claudette was here? That's a great question. And there's going to be a humdinger. Says my path. And Sharks are in 4th place. Come on, it's still anyone's comp. And Hamish to trying to get my friend on here, says Craig. Is your friend's name Claudette by any chance? So I think that makes more sense then if it's one of your friends that you have talked to about coming on earlier. Live, says Walter, so the game available on Supersport or TVNZ here in New Zealand, completely free as long as you got a VPN. And cool, says Claudette. And nervous about this one. I hope the Bulls can pull it through. Just talking about those changes for this Sharks lineup, quite a few. And it'll be fast at the foot at Loftus. Sharks by 13. Says Martin. Kia ora everyone. Says Matthew. And how's it, girl? Says Craig. Howdy, Hamish. Says Graham. And hi from Ireland. Says Padraig there as well. Welcome in, Padraig. Hope you keep him well. Hope you've been enjoying the rugby so far this weekend. These two sides about to make their way onto the field. That loose forward trio, though, for the Sharks. Or sorry, for the Bulls. No Eldrick Lowe. No Cameron Honeycomb. What they just say about... I didn't quite hear that. I'm just going to quickly listen. Because I think they said the extent of Honeycomb's injury. His arm cast, I think they said. I don't know whether that means that it's broken or whether it's something less than that. But either way, not ideal for Cameron Honeycomb. Colin from South Africa, says Colin there. Now making their way out onto the field. Big smile for the kid who's making his way onto the park alongside Vincent Tachuka. And wet, slippery conditions, which can lead sometimes to some rough rugby, but can also lead to a lot of opportunities to be able to score points. So hopefully that's what we see when these two sides take to the field. But also, we have already done the score prediction side of things. Do let me know, ladies and gents, who do you think is the player who will score the very first try? See, it seems safe to pick a Bulls player here, but I'm actually going to say that the Sharks score first, but then the Bulls score relatively quickly after. So I'm going to go with Grant Williams. A big hug there for Vincent Tachuka. A really nice moment for the youngster. He will now make his way off of the field. If it's wet, it will favour the Sharks. They come on the Bulls. And it is Claudette. I went through the whole World Cup with Hamish, says Craig. And damn it, I'm off to the sports bar, says Steve Worley. And Sharks Grant Williams, Lilia B on the same page as myself, by the sounds of it. And David Creel, hopefully, says Colin. Honestly, he was going to be the guy that I would pick for the Bulls' first try. Either him or Harold Foster. Looks like Bruce Papi are going to make his way out onto the field. It is his 100th game? Yeah, it is. 100th game for him, so leading out with, I believe it would have been his partner. And Sharks used to play in the wet. I think will score first, Serge Jean. And Kanan Moody is the first try scorer for Ronnie. Yeah, it's impressive that a player like Moody can go so under the radar in terms of we've been talking all about the key players for these sides, the ones who are missing, but Moody is world class out on that wing. Claudette says, what's on your mind about rugby only? What's on my mind about rugby? I mean, this game's certainly going to be a good one. I really hope it is anyway. That's the main thing that I'm thinking about currently. Also trying to think of all the players missing, and there are too many to count for these two teams. But now the Bulls flags are waving in the stands. We are close to the start of this game. Marius van der Vesterhuizen will be the man in charge of this contest. Had a few predictions of who's going to be first in terms of the try scorers. I invited her, Hamish, says Craig. You're getting the word of the channel out by the looks of it, Craig. Done well. And Sharks to score first, Henry Hannibal. And also first try by Moody, says JD as well. Now we are ready to go for this contest. So Mother Siri there, ready to be lifted up. And the Bulls will miss Honeycomb and low big blows, says Colin. Yeah, losing both of those guys in that loose forward trio, it's going to be brutal. The field looking a little bit dry at Loftus, definitely in the in-goal area by the looks of it. Someone forgot to turn on the sprinklers before the game. It's also been extremely warm, though. Any more games today that you're going to commentate on? None at all. So we've done our 4, done our dash for the day. And then, yeah, next live streams will be next week. But we are hopefully going to bring out a few Rugby 25 videos up till the weekend, if that is something you guys want to see. If there's any matches in particular you want to see us play on Rugby 25, let me know, and I'll write them down on a list. But now thrown in, Bulls in possession on the halfway line. Nassim Carr. Bulls will want to start this match well. And good luck for the Sharks, says Michael. Kicked up high. Kanan Moody slaps it back, still on their side. Although now bounces free in the Sharks. That's an extremely late shot from JF Van Heeren. I know he's a big man, so it takes a little while to put the hit in, but that did seem like he was about 5 minutes too late. Now line out throw here for the Bulls. Rugby 25 match. Ireland versus Wales. Says Padraig there. Because we did do Ireland versus South Africa as a simulated game a couple days ago, just if you do want to see the Irish players in action for their face scans, etc. Do look relatively realistic. The problem still is the gameplay, though. Willie LaRue goes off to Harold Foster. A huge amount of assists in recent weeks for LaRue. Just been really world-class in terms of his decision-making. Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Now pick and go around the side. Embros Papier. Quick hands from Willie LaRue. Gets it off to Devin Williams. Goes for the grubber in behind. Jordan Hendricks. Going to be under pressure. Kanan Moody jumping on him. Now, that might be Kanan Moody's ball. Yes, it is. Brilliant steal from the 14. Now, 10 metres out from the line. This is a chance, if they want it, to take 3. But I think they will go for the corner. They've got quite the attacking mindset. Willie LaRue calling for the ball. And, yep, they're going to go for that rolling maul that I mentioned earlier on. Johan Robela. He has scored many of them throughout the season. Like they've said, you want that ball to stay in, and that is exactly what it did. Hendrickson was ready to claim it, but then Kanan Moody was ready for that interception. Now thrown in, Johan Rubela does nicely. Now looking to roll this one a little bit further forward. Off to the left. Kruvela, defended well by the Sharks. Chuka manages to make the tackle, but he's going to give away the advantage for not rolling away. Going against him there, offload Jan Hendrik Vessels. I don't think anyone picked him to score the first try, but the big loose head prop will be the first man on the board for the Bulls, and it has only taken 3 minutes for them to be able to break that Sharks defence down. They are just checking this one, I believe, making sure that it is all right. Nice run from Ambrose Papier, just to maybe be able to regain his balance enough to get that pass away. It does look like an interesting turf. It looks like sand in that back corner. So I guess the big question is, what if they had at Loftus recently, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sure a couple of you guys who are more local to the area will know. There was a sand pit down one end. Have they had like the monster trucks or something like they had at Cape Town that time, which was why the turf looked pretty roughed up? And who is kicking? Says Ronnie there. It's David Creel in charge of the kicking today. It's going to make the score 7-0 after that kick has gone over. What a great start to the match for the home side. Now, Sia Masuku, he is going to kick this one up high. And nicely taken under the high ball yet again. One more. We will go like that and like that. There we go. And yes, the ball, says Colin. Bros Papier now 25 metres out from his own line. Bulls are going to run away with this game, says Matthew. And well, Creel, I did not miss, says Eric. Yeah, straight out in front. Would have been very hard to miss that one, I would say. And soccer match, I think, says Lilia B. And that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Sharks now in the breakdown. Making a few too many early errors here. For both of these sides, in fact, discipline-wise. A lot of roughness in the breakdown. That's the best way to describe it. But Sia Masuku now. Going to go off the outside of the boot towards the 22. Just talking about Ruan Nokia. Away for this game. No Eldrick Lowe. No Cameron Hanekom. And keep going, the Bulls. We need 85 minutes effort here, says Colin. Now line out throw. Probably about 30 metres out, I would say, for the Sharks. And Bongi Umbanambi not happy with the spacing between the two sides. Good afternoon, everyone. And Hamish says, Jimbo, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Hope you're excited for this matchup, as well as the matches taking place next week. Of course, the Six Nations will be returning. There is also a match coming up for one of these two sides next week. It's going to be the Bulls in action up against the Lions. And then in 2 weeks' time, we get to see the Lions take on the Sharks. And on that same week, it will be the Stormers versus the Bulls. So 2 South African games to look forward to for that week. But Super Rugby will be well and truly in the swing of things by then. Silly mistake from Vermark, says Eric. And Bulls defence needs to hold firm here. And let's go, says Nadine. Going for the Sharks. Ball's going to be there for Grant Williams and the Sharks. Up quickly were the Bulls. Nice offload. Lucanio arm. So down by Ruan Vermark, who's going to go for the counter ruck again, but he has lost his footing for a second time. Ospreys unlucky against our lot last night. Yeah, very close for the Ospreys. In that matchup, there's going to be a penalty advantage for the Sharks. That ball's gone backwards, so they will go back for the original penalty. Number 9, it was actually playing the 9. So going in favour of Grant Williams. And that is against Marco van Staden. Doesn't look too happy about it either. We have got their women's toilets at restaurants are dangerous. Every time my date gets up to go to one, they seem to disappear, says Bruce. Seems like an issue on your end, Bruce, more than anything. Bless you, says Amanda. And nice Puma top, says Brian. Yeah, I don't normally wear white, I'll be honest, but we got it on today. And that's now 2 days in a row that we've gone with different shirts that we haven't worn on a live stream before. So we're being very different for February, I guess. No reason behind it. I just went, oh, well, that'll do. But yeah, just that shot on Grant Williams by Marco van Staden. Bit of a cheap one. And now the Sharks will be about 6 metres out. 5 minutes in, Bulls already ahead. I'm thinking 50-plus score here. Says Xander. And Escom tackled Williams lights out. Says Eric. I mean, Grant Williams is still all right. He's going to be continuing in this game, which is great news for the Sharks. The last thing they want to do is lose him as well. Now Williams goes off there to Yapinka. They're going to be a few metres out from the line. Williams goes now. Sia Masuku, skip pass. That's the try for the Sharks. Ethan Hooker, no one in front of him to defend. I think the Bulls will pull this one off, says Bruce. Although the Sharks have now got themselves back into this game at a crucial time as well. I think it's going to be close, says Colin. And let's go the Blues boys, or sorry, the Bulls, says Ruth. Yapinka carrying hard, and then just the back line. Moody a long way off his wing. Same with Williams. Seemed like they were all compact, thinking that the Bulls were going to be using their forwards. And they did not. They went out wide, and they reaped the rewards. Terrible defence by the Bulls, says Colin. Yeah, seemed to be a real misread from the Bulls' defensive line. Now Jordan Hendrickse lining up this kick. Already one try apiece after only the 9 minutes. Too easy again from a penalty, and Hendrickse does manage to convert. That's going to make the score now 7 points each. Well, 2 tries in the first 5 minutes of the game, says Xander. And Sharks must try and chase the cows all over the park. And I hope there is enough water to drown them, says Kevin. You know, the field does look pretty dry, to be honest. So they're going to need a lot more moisture. Some funky tunes being played by the sounds of it. Willie LaRue now kicks it off into the Sharks 22. Jordan Hendrickse tries to fend off Ambrose Papier. Can't quite get through him. The Bulls very asleep there. And the Bulls says Anna in there as well. Grant Williams across to Ntatuku Machunu. Now Williams will look for the box kick from inside of his own 22, so is able to find touch with it. And decides against it though for Williams. Keeps the ball in the field of play, and Yapinka has taken it very nicely. She keeps the ball on the side of the Sharks, who are under pressure from the rush defence of the Bulls. Sia Masuku goes across to Lucanio, offloads to the youngster Lorenzo Julius. A massive splashback, 7-all, says JD. And let's go the Sharks, says Lilia B. Well done the Sharks, says Rhea too. Seems to be quite a split at the moment in terms of who's going for what team in this contest. Grant Williams again will roll this one back. I have to say, some bright boots out there on the field for the Sharks. Must have got a new sponsor or a new set of boots sent their way. Now Yapinka going on the outside. Tries to kick. It doesn't work out, and it goes straight into the hands of Ambrose Papier. Cheap way to give the ball away. Too easy. Moody and Williams out of defensive positions, says Eric. Now, Ambrose Papier almost having a knock on the ground 11 minutes in. And they're going for the big cross kick, and that is far too much on it. Billy LaRue overcooking it. And now they will go back for the line out. To be fair, though, the line out is about where, there wasn't a huge amount of loss for the Bulls in terms of that one going out on the full, maybe only losing 5 or so metres from where the kick could have gone out. But of course, it would have been a lot better if it was contestable. Looks like a bit of an early injury here for Corne Ral. Split his head open on the top. Hamish in the inside on the rice price, so my Bulls boys can cook after the match, says Martin. No idea about the rice price at the moment. I was hoping you'd know, Martin. AO is current champs in this championship, so the current champions is Glasgow. They were able to beat the Bulls in the final last year in South Africa, so that made it an even bigger win for Glasgow. They are just showing the highlights. Jan Hendrik Wessels, the man who scored the first try of the contest, and then answering back pretty quickly for the Sharks to be able to get that try off the bit of ill discipline from the Bulls. JC Pretorius says Katzenel. And we have got there JP Fori. And Zebre says Eric there too. But they are just showing Ethan Hooker, another man who is right in the running for a chance in that Springbok side. 79% at the moment in favour of the Bulls to win this game. That is pretty massive, seeing as both sides have already scored once. And the Sharks are far from looking out of form heading into this match, with the exception of a couple of the penalties they've given away. It's going to be all almost stolen by Carr. Now Umbanambi. Good attack and run forward from the experienced Springboks hooker. Now bounce pass out to Lukanyoam. I swear Lukanyoam, am I going crazy or did he have yellow boots on before? Now he's wearing white boots. So I swear he's just changed them. Oh, that doesn't look good for Yapinka. Looks like he's got some sort of leg injury. And he has stayed down in a ball. Big run from Ethan Hooker. Manages to get through. Couple tackle attempts, but the ball stolen in the breakdown from Johan Hrubela. Passed across Sergio Peterson. And how to guess this one, says Stefan. How to guess this one, as in like who's going to win? Or in terms of the poll. And the Bulls, says Anna, Villy LaRue, clearing kick. Hasn't gone out, so the Sharks for now are still playing with 14. Or is the teenage guy, number 12, Adres or something, is he playing? So you're thinking of Lorenzo Julius, and he is playing at number 13 alongside Lukanyoam in that midfield. So a very dangerous duo for the Sharks. There's going to be a knock on there from the Bulls now. Offload coming to Julius. Now back across to the left-hand side. Vermaat cuts it off. They will go back for the original scrum. Oh, it's actually Trevor Nakanya. I thought it was Yapinka down on this near side, seeing as he was out on that wing. But where is it? Oh, that's an Achilles right there. The way that he's just gone down, I think he snapped his Achilles clean open. Well, not clean open, but clean off. That does not look good for Trevor Nakanya, who's number 4 for the Sharks. That is Corne Ral, the big blonde man. And the Bulls, here's Anna. They're saying they hope it's not a long-term injury. I think he's done for the season for Trevor Nakanya. He can't put any weight on that leg by the looks of it. And it's just the last thing that they needed is more injury issues here. For a side that is already plagued with those injuries. Sharks need to do this, says Craig. Pack weight's 936 kgs for the Bulls, 920 kgs for the Sharks. I don't know whether or not that was with Trevor Nakanya's weight considered or not. Now, feeding the ball in. Grant Williams decides to shift this one to the left-hand side. Taking run from Lukanyoam. Is it an ACL tear? It looked that way. Oh, I don't know what's happened there for Sia Masuku. He tried to do a kick and he's missed it. He might have just grazed the foot. Yep, referee says he does. So now it's going to be play on as the Sharks have managed to take it back from the Bulls again. Poor old Trevor, the legends getting old. Says Eric. The Bulls are not orcas, that's for sure, says Kevin. Now Williams going to the right-hand side. Now Saladami Hendricks has knocked it on. And the Bulls now, I believe they'll go back for that scrum. Yes, they do. Showing there, Bongilmanambi. He did end up slamming Villy LaRue down on the ground. But a friendly fire for the two Bok teammates. Look, says it all. Not good, mate, poor fella. Says JD, yeah. It just looked like... The worst thing is, it wasn't like an ankle. You know, sometimes when you see someone twist their ankle or they buckle at the ankle and you go, okay, that's what's happened. But instead, he was just running and then he just lifted his leg and went nut and fell down. So, yeah, that's something I would assume relatively serious and probably, yeah, either muscular or tendon or something in there that has gone slightly wrong. Well, very wrong, in fact, not even slightly. But now Mbrua's Papier to feed this ball in again. Bulls B team. Pack nowhere, getting bullied. Says Eric, and it's gone down again. We'll go low. Getting the face on the turf when going head-to-head with Michunu. What happened to the Welsh guy in the NFL? Didn't see him in the Super Bowl, says Katzenell. So that's Lewis Rees-Zammit. He had a season. Did he have a season for the Chiefs? I don't think he ever made it into an actual game, but he was pretty much through the trials. He made it into the extended squad, and then they cut them down, and then he did end up missing out. So I'm not too sure what his plan is now, whether or not he's considering rugby again, or whether he's going to stick with the NFL and eventually try and get signed. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So the Chiefs did have him in, and then he got taken out. Yeah, sounds worse than we could imagine. Painful, says JD and Kelda, says Tar. Now, Mbros Papier, he was going to go to the short side, but never picked it up. Instead, leaves it for Nassim Carr. Told to use it. Pierre cannot take too much time now. Kia says Matthew to Ta. Good clearing kick from Ambros Papier. Probably made about 40 metres off the territory kick for that one. Which is exactly what his side were after. And I wonder if the Bulls with food poisoned. They look so bad. So he's given. I don't think so. I think that they've just been a little bit ill-disciplined. That's about it. And also just that one blunder when they didn't have anyone out wide covering for that cutout pass. But other than that, they've had their moments. As Nakani off the field, he certainly is. And I don't think he will be returning for quite some time for the Sharks. Looked like a very severe injury. Claimed there at half by Grant Williams off the line out. Only 16 minutes in. And Williams again rolls it back. That seems to be the tactic at the moment for both of these sides. Going for those box kicks. Trying to force the error. Plus, when Yapinka has been chasing them as well as he has, and he has won about maybe, I'd say 70% of the ones he's gone up for. Now, that's going to be Vincent Tuchuka actually penalised for that one. He was offside. So it means that the Bulls can kick this one towards the touchline. The ref saying that Vincent Tuchuka had to stop advancing. Even though he didn't touch the ball, it is still something that they do penalise quite a bit. Villiers Larue, off the left boot, kicks it down towards the 22. And yeah, he is in front. So, to be fair, he's slightly pulled out of it, but not enough for the ref to not penalise him for it. Fans used to seeing the teams winning, winding up about pretty solid half. Ridiculous. Says Katzenell, and at Hamish, has Leinster lost a game this season? If no, do you think the Bulls can give them an L? It'll be interesting when those two sides play off, to be honest. Or have they already? Did they play earlier on in the season? I know one of the South African sides have already played, Leinster at least. That's going to be a nice step coming in now. Looking for the offload, Lucanio arm. Another offload to Williams. Sia Masuku looking for the kick in behind. It's going to be a good chasing opportunity for the big man Pepsi Buthelezi, but it does go into touch. It'll be about 5 metres from the line now. I have a quick look to see which South African side I was thinking of that did play Leinster, because one of them didn't stay that competitive, unfortunately. So Leinster, they beat the Stormers 36-12. It was one of the games. I think they have played one other South African side, if I'm correct. Leinster Lions 24-6. Then they played either of the other two as well. Leinster Benettons there, Leinster Dragons, and then Leinster Edinburgh. Yeah, so they've just played the two sides, the Lions and the Stormers, and they've beaten them both at this point. But they were close to losing today. Did you ever follow Brett Russell's career? I did not know. What are your thoughts on the first round of Super Rugby? Exactly what a lot of people wanted to see. Close, competitive games of rugby, fast-paced, high-scoring. And even though there were a lot of tries being scored, there was some great defensive work from the teams as well. So I feel like as we build throughout the competition, hopefully the games will stay just as close. Umbanambi knee injury here. Looks like he's just getting a bit of ice. I'm hoping that's just a bit of a knock, and he will be all right to continue. Aussie team's quite competitive, I have to say. Here's Katzenell. Yeah, they did quite well. Although, I think it will be a really good sign for telling when we see the likes of the Hurricanes, Crusaders, Blues, and Chiefs play Aussie sides. The Highlanders, no offence to them, but they are probably the side that would be the lowest out of New Zealand's teams at the moment. And had gone first. Sears Ruth. And a great win for the Brumbies over the Fijian drawer as well. First visit to Fiji and having that 100% winning record. Awesome, says Craig Stevens. Right, Umbanambi is all right to be able to continue in this match, which is great news. So the last thing that they wanted to do was lose another experienced head in that front row. Right, we're ready for the throw. Umbanambi will be targeting either Rao or Jenkins, I would say. Yep, going to the front to Jason Jenkins that time. And now the rolling maul, 22 metres out from the try line. Umbanambi has that ball at the back. Pepsi Buthelezi joining it too. We're going to keep on marching just that little bit further forward. I'm always a bit confused about that rule because Pepsi Buthelezi joined in front of Umbanambi, which I feel like there is one of those laws that say that you're not supposed to do that, although it's not really policed when you're away from the line. But will that fast competition filter into the All Blacks, says Cameron? It's a great question. And I think Razor will be keeping a close eye on Super Rugby. Villy LaRue just having to run that ball dead after the Sharks kick it in behind. We have got there something from Elsa and Watful. You must be... I don't know what she said though, Kevin. What did she say? I want to know whether or not it was clueless or whether it was a fair point. But now Villy LaRue going for the drop kick from the goal line. Oh, here comes a big run forward. Pumping the legs. Vincent Tachuka running straight at Jan Hendrik Wessels. Now 25 metres out, Pepsi Buthelezi. Tackled hard. Oh, Williams almost having a bit of a fumble with the ball. The Netherlands is involved from Katzenel by the sound of it. And deep binding in the offside position by the Sharks. Sears Benninghoff. So I wasn't going crazy. That is something that could be said, isn't it? Like in terms of the fact that he ended up going in front of him. Because I know in the line-out you're not allowed to drop a guy in front. Critical of your commentary, says Kevin. So what did she say? I don't know who Gerhard is, though. Where did he come into it? And Ball's not sharp so far, says Colin. 21 and a half minutes through. And Average, please ignore that Elsa woman. I don't know what she's doing here, says Rhea. But now I'm curious now. Like, I can take it. I got thick skin from doing live streams. As you guys know, we get a fair amount of abuse. Just comes with the job. Mbanambi ready to throw this ball in. And it's going to be knocked on by Vincent Tachuka, claimed by Lowe. That being Wilco. There's no Elric there. Ambrose Papier. Side of their own half. About 30 metres out from their line. Nicely taken from Yapinke. Grant Williams. Looking to sneak his way through. He's met by his opposite number in Ambrose Papier. Almost turning into a rolling maul here. It took a little while for them to get it to the ground. Now another tackle on the halfway line. Villy LaRue will be P. She says something in Afrikaans. Just ignore it. Says Lilia B. I feel like I wish I knew a bit more Afrikaans. I couldn't understand what else I said. It was in A. Says Matthew. That's going to go back. She said something in Afrikaans. Now, assistant referee. And it has just gone forward from Devin Williams. Yep, got a fingertip to it. Did end up going down. And Villy LaRue finally found its feet and his hands, says Roof. Hamish is a draw, best result for South Africa. I mean, a draw would help both of these sides, of course, rather than some of them dropping a bit more behind. But I feel like both of these sides, if they had the option of a draw or a loss, of course, you'd take the draw, but you'd also want the win if it was on the cards. All Sharks here for now. Not looking good for the Bulls. Actually, there's no question you do a brilliant job. That's why we're all here. Says Kevin. People can really keep their bad comments to themselves. Says Pai Tai. Yeah, from doing YouTube, though, we've learned people don't. Like, we've had a lot. You should look at a Sevens weekend. I probably get 100 comments, I would say, of, like, people abusing me. But that's, like, literally what you sign up for, unfortunately. It's the sad reality of online. And am I the only Shark? Yeah, no, we got a few more of the Shark supporters said it sounds like you are commentating at a funeral. It is an interesting choice, because I feel like if I was this upbeat at a funeral, people would think that I didn't like the deceased person, would they? Now, just waiting for the next passage of play. Bulls select him at 10. And all the Bulls do is kick it away, so why not play Biote, Chen and Villy at 15? It's an option. I think they wanted to have Chamberlain, though, off the bench as a bit more of an option later on. And go the Bulls, says Jean. And probably not Jacqueline, says Pai Tai. And Evam, she said something in Afrikaans, just ignore it, says Lilia B. And I'm Sharks all the way, always says Lilia B there. 23 minutes in. I've just said there a few more dark clouds starting to form around the stadium. And win critical for the Bulls to go top 2. Sharks cannot go to second spot. Says betting off. Yeah, that's true. And the Bulls, they do want those home finals, don't they? As they move further on. Yeah, that's looking a bit ominous in the background. And for anyone wondering about how the table currently sits, now there is a bit of an exception. The Lions are now up to 10th and the Stormers are 9th. And as we get a few more games of this weekend, those rankings will change a bit. Glasgow do still have a game, I believe. Or did they play earlier on? They might have played yesterday, did they? No, they've got the Dragons tomorrow. So that'll be an interesting one. And they should win that, but nothing's guaranteed. And yeah, the Bulls says Roof and Roof. I enjoy the banter, the hateful comments are just to get reactions. Everyone is here because we all love Hamish. Says Xander, now passing off to the right-hand side. Quick hands from Jordan Hendricks. So Yapinka moves up to 22 out. Now off to the left-hand side. Nicely claimed. And big bump off there from Ruan Vermaak on Sia Masuku. And penalty goes the way of the Sharks, though, in the breakdown. Not releasing. I think that was Jacobs, in fact, who did get it. The man who came onto the field for Trevor Kanye. And we have the Elsa was referring to a commentator many years ago. Elsa don't speak Afrikaans here. Thanks for this channel, my friend. At least we can have correct info. You're doing a great job, says Amanda. Thank you very much. 25 minutes gone, and looks like they are opting for the 3 points now, rather than going for the 7. This will give them the lead, which some people wouldn't have been anticipating after the 25 minutes of play that we have had so far this game. Is that Loftus? It certainly is. The Sharks haven't seemed rattled by that occasion. And we have got there, we that come here truly appreciate you, Amish, trust me, says Kevin. And I live next to the Shark Stadium, but my favourite team are the Cats. Where are the Cats anyway? They disbanded a long time ago, the old Cats, but they were a fun team for a little bit of time. Unless you're talking about the Cheetahs. If you're talking about the Cheetahs, of course, they are not in the URC, but there's a rumour that they might be joining Super Rugby. So that's something to watch out for if they were to. Kick has actually been missed by Jordan Hendricks. It's a big mistake. The Sharks will still receive the ball off the 22 dropout. 40 metres from the line. 14 minutes left in this first half. Plenty of time. Now off to the right again. Hendricks. Kanyawam. And the ball says Anna. Got Gary, don't know how my comment led you to ask me if I'm putting down Afrikaans. Where's Gary? I didn't see Gary's one. Where is Gary? Oh, there's Gary. Are we over there, Hamish? There was a Czech couple from America when base of a suitcase located a concealment of white powder. Says Padraig, you're still watching your border control, aren't you, by the sounds of it? The Bulls for life, says Unknown King. Ball is on the side of the Bulls. About 30 metres out from their own try line, looking for the kick downfield from Harold Foster, who had a bit of a slip in the process. And that's going to be a brilliant kick. I think it's a 50-22 off a slip for Harold Foster. And that's going to gain the Bulls a huge amount of territory. Oh, he said just outside. I don't know about that. I think we need to see a replay of that one. And go the Sharks, says Marion. It was almost a 50-22 for all money. Gerhard Vivias was an African radio commentator before TV in South Africa. The Bulls are still in the dressing room. There was almost a 22-22 from Harold Foster, kicking it from just outside of his own line. Yeah, so probably just outside, benefit of the doubt. We'll go to the Sharks there, but great kick from Harold Foster to relieve the pressure for his own side. Now it is going to be the line out. Important one for the Sharks to get right. A few drinks on the field at the moment. Bongi Manambi with his hands on his hips, feeling the fatigue. Still 12 minutes to go as well, so both of these sides will be absolutely buggered by halftime, but they'll keep on going. And honestly, very close between these two sides. Okay, sounds like Corne Ral is actually the reason that they've slowed down here. I'd love to learn how to speak more languages. The only languages I know are Māori and English. Says Matthew. And the Bulls is back. Says Unknown King. Yeah, see, I'm only fluent in English. I only know like 2 words of Afrikaans and like few words of Māori. Couple bits of little like a greeting in Portuguese or Spanish, but other than that, nothing else. Did the Stormers lose? They did by 7. They got the bonus point in the end. And this will be a close game for the Bulls. Did you see the Czech couple from America caught in Sydney Airport on Border Security Australia? I did not, Padraig. I have not watched Border Security in a very long time. I can speak Welsh and Australian and some English, says RIP. So can I ask what the difference is between Australian and English? Out of curiosity. And I speak English as well as a little Scotland. Ready for this line out throw. They'll be 40 metres out from their line here, the Sharks. This game's reached a little bit of repetition at the moment. It seems to be both sides playing a bit of that kicking battle, but also a few handling errors, causing a bit of stop-start. Great work again from Yapinke under the high ball. He's taken a lot on that side, and I don't think he's lost too many as of yet. Grant Williams now off to Ntutuku Machunu. Afrikaans is one of the easiest languages to learn. Says Neville. I bet I know the words in Afrikaans, you know, says Salah. A lot of them are, I'll be honest, a lot of them are swear words because I've been called a lot of them. Now, it's going to be kicked in behind from Siamasuku. Slap back again for the Bulls. Ambrose Papier. A lot of pressure on him from Ethan Huko. Locks himself over the ball and gets the clean steal for the Sharks. It'll kick him behind from Masuku. Too much on it. I don't know why. But both of these sides are opting for the grubber way more often than they should be. And yeah, Masuku knows that he is frustrated with that decision. It could have been an easy one if they had just looked to pass it. But instead going fancy and paying the price for it. Speak frequent French and Arabic and Italian and a bit of Irish and English, says Padraig. And guys, will he show the screen or will he yap like this? I will yap like this. Sadly, due to YouTube's restrictions, we aren't able to show any match footage or audio, or else we get taken straight off YouTube for copyright infringement. If you have a VPN, you can watch in TVNZ Plus. That's a great way to watch it if you set yourself to New Zealand. But other than that, it's mainly on Supersport plus the highlights on YouTube after. Speak English, Afrikaans, Spanish, and a bit of Zulu. South Africa has 11 official languages, says Neil. And keep ball in hand. Yeah, they're opting for those kicks a bit too often for, I think, a lot of people's likings. And your pronunciation of the players, Afrikaans and Xhosa, is good, says Claudette. Thank you very much. It's taken quite a bit of practice to get close to the right pronunciations. Now, sitting 31 minutes through in the scrum feed for the Bulls inside of their 22, and they will get themselves the scrum penalty. Front row for the Sharks collapsing. Going straight to the grass. Machunu looking angry about it too. Willie LaRue. Good distance, but does not find touch. Jordan Hendrickser at the back was ready to keep that ball in the field of play. Yapinka. Again, nice attack and run. Offload on the inside. Going to Maveseri. Offload to Pepsi Buthelezi, who's got a great step on him. Looks like a Bulls player was down in back play. Might have been knocked out. He didn't look like he was moving too much. If you're in New Zealand, you'll bump into many South Africans that can teach you, says Neville. Right, double blow of the whistle. This looks like a yellow card for Willie LaRue. He will be taken from the field for 10 minutes now. Cynical infringement. A little bit similar to what we saw for VODACOM in the earlier game up against the Lions. But Willie LaRue, 10 minutes in the naughty corner. And now the Sharks, they are taking on the 3 by the looks of it. That was fast-paced. Counter-attack. Yapinke has had a blinder so far throughout this contest. He has made very little mistakes. Pepsi Butalazy, oh yeah, Villy LaRue sat down. And then from there, what does he do? Okay, yeah, he just rushes up, not behind the hindmost foot. So from an offside position, just to pretty much kill off that move. It's cloudy in Ireland. There's Pat Rag, that one's gone over. So the Sharks now taking the lead in this contest, 33 minutes in, 10 points to 7. Now the Sharks need to take advantage of the yellows, says Lilia B. They certainly do. Like, they've made far too many errors in those really important attacking moments. The Sharks are starting to show teeth. There's Neville. Now just walking up to the halfway line for the Bulls. I'm not sure who it was who stayed down from, looked like an injury, but he must be back up now. Hands on hips for Vincent Tichuca. Now Richard Creel ready to kick this ball off. Like they've said, only 7 minutes remaining of the first half. It's time to make that little bit of an impact. No worry, Hamish, your pronunciation Afrikaans names is almost perfect, says Louis. And the Sharks look super motivated. The Bulls just on a lekker stroll. Yeah, they've never really ramped up to the next level yet, have they, the Bulls? They are... Well, that's the thing, though. They've still had their fair share of decent moments. It's just that the Sharks seem to be mitigating them a little bit. Lucanio arm off his left boot will look for the touchline and does not find it. Now David Krill going back across to Sergil Peterson. Devon Williams, that's a knock on from Foster out wide. Disappointing from the inside centre. And we have got the Do You Think Super Rugby we will return to pre-COVID days in terms of the teams or in terms of the attendance. Damo. Because, like, in terms of the teams, I don't think so. I think that the URC South African side's pretty happy there at the moment, having the chance at the Champions Challenge Cup as well as an added bonus. Time zones works well. Bit of travel, but that's expected no matter what. Right, there is going to be a sub now. Can't take the scrum because Umbanumbi is still down. Okay, it sounds like it's going to be an HIA, and there is Trevor Nakanye in a moon boot already with the crutches as well. This does not look good for him. Unfortunately, it does look like his season is going to be over. I can speak cheap Paris for a few hours after I wake up. Bulls useless today, very disappointed, says Colin. Yeah, they just haven't been as clinical as we would expect, but that does not mean that they won't be. Later on in the game, we saw what happened between the Stormers and the Lions. Lions scored 3 tries in the first half, didn't score a single one in the second half. Whereas that's where the Stormers got themselves there too. So as long as both sides are still close, it's anyone's pick for the second 40 minutes. And LaRue having a good game, says Claudette. He was up until got his yellow card. Now he's going to be off the field for the next 7 minutes. So hopefully it won't cost the Bulls too heavily. Now we have got there, Hamish. Is that, do I speak French, maybe? And we have got there, Sharks will be using the kids soon, says Sean. Yeah, they're running low on players at the moment. Quite a few of those under 20 guys might end up getting call-ups if they're not careful. Now ball's gone into the scrum. Big push from the Bulls. And there was a knock-on from Grant Williams, which now causes the scrum feed to be in favour of the Bulls for the next one. Sharks have a lot of injuries here. But play good ruggers, deservedly ahead. Bulls looking awful and disinterested, says Eric. But they can still find a lead heading into the second half if they can get something going in the near future. Five minutes left. This first half of rugby. It's been relatively free-flowing. Although, also, to be fair, it's been a 45 minutes for 35 minutes, I believe, at the moment, the way that we sit. So there's been some good running rugby, but also a lot of injuries to be dealt with. Bulls nowhere to be seen, says Colin. And ball is fed in. And they've got themselves another advantage. Just introduced Claudette, and she thinks you are hot, says Craig. Much appreciated, Claudette. She also sounds like she likes Villy LaRue, by the sounds of it. And said, what have become of the Bulls? They can scrum, but nothing else. Harsh, but kind of true at the moment in terms of what we've seen throughout this game. Like early on when they scored their first try, it was just a nice play. The Bulls making it very difficult for the Bulls. Or sorry, the Sharks making it very difficult for the Bulls. Did they just say that he's kicked that ball dead? I don't think so. Hard to get momentum with all the stops, says Lily B. Yeah, exactly right. It's very difficult for sides that like fast-paced rugby and they normally get that free-flowingness going. But yeah, kicked in a touch too far from David Creel, which now means that the Sharks have got themselves a scrum. So another lifeline that has been handed to them. Did Bevan receive a Rolex from Louis in the semi-final 1995 South Africa versus France? No idea, to be honest with you. Claudette has great taste, says Jacqueline. God's going to get me blushing over here. 3 minutes left. Still 5 minutes left on the yellow card. Ethan Bester makes his way on. Debut match. Big chance for him. Marius van der Westhuizen is blowing again. I grew up in Christchurch. One of my favourite games was when Murdens got the droppy against the Bulls. Classic Super Rugby. Says Namo. Yeah, a lot of people do still look back at the old days of Super Rugby as the fond memories type of thing. The first round was pretty decent, though, in terms of rugby action. Like, all the games competitively close, which is what you want. Now, Grant Williams. Oh, penalty goes the way of the Bulls, though. That is one thing that the Sharks have struggled with in this game. They've already had to make 2 of their changes due to the head knock of Umbanambi and also the Achilles tear, I believe it was, of Trevor Nakanye. But Jakob's the man who's penalised for that one. Looks like David Creel is going to be lining up the kick at the post. What's happening? Come on, Bulls, switch on. Colin Meads or Frick Dupree, who is better? Honestly, very much so before my time. So I think you'd be better off asking I was going to say the older, but not in an offensive way, but like the older generation of rugby viewers than myself. Jake, get back to basics. Willie at 15, Bilt at 10. To do the kicks also, says Eric. Now ready to line up this kick. It will be David Creel. Now he did miss touch earlier, but he did get his first kick over. Of the day, come on the Bulls, says George. And get back to the basics. Willie at 15, Chamberlain at 10. To do the kicks also. David Creel, oh, he's missed it. It's hit the post and bounced away to the side. Awkward one for Yapinke. He does put it down, so it will now be the goal line dropout, but not ideal there for the Bulls. 22 dropout. And they were both awesome, says Outlaw. I'll see a Masuku. In this one downfield. Pathetic kick. Bulls absolutely useless today. So sad to see. Ethan Best is on Rassie's list for the Bop camp, says Lilia. And yeah, we'll get a lot of experience under his belt by going to those camps. A lot of players being invited to that first one taking place. And I think it's a month or so, is it? Or maybe only a few weeks. Devon Williams kicks it high. He's not too happy with the kick. A little bit overcooked, and the mark is called by Jordan Hendrickse. A bit too much distance on it. 1 minute left in the first half now. And now Hendrickse, he's going to make sure that he gives this one absolutely plenty. I think the slipper into it. In fact, it's kind of come off the side of his boot there, so maybe didn't quite get the distance that he was after, but it will go down to the halfway line now. Line out chance for the Bulls. This more than likely will be the last play of the half. Help me guys to live stream, please, says Chantel. So your best option, if you've got a VPN, is to set yourself to New Zealand and look at TVNZ Plus. The other options, unfortunately, there aren't really too many free options around for the URC. I think that if you are able to set yourself to Ireland, they also have an option for watching, but in terms of the free options, they are very rare to find. Colin Meads played with a broken arm against the Springboks in 1970. Go you Sharks, says Graham. Rolling maul now for the Bulls, though. They have got the penalty advantage in their favour. And Bros Papier, little chip and bind from Harold Foster, goes straight to the Sharks. And they'll go back for the penalty now. Right, the question mark here is, do you go for the 3 again? Or do you go more aggressive and try and go for the corner? Both Frick and Colin are mean. The Aussies hated Colin Meads. Can't even kick a goal anymore, says Colin. And this one would not be an easy kick at the post, so instead they opt for the corner. I think that is a good choice. Making sure that that one goes out, and probably lost maybe 5 or 10 metres just because he wanted to keep that one going over the sideline. If you're not a Bok fans, what are you doing here? Says Viv B. We seem to get a few overseas viewers on these ones. Mainly just for the URC, the amount of countries that it does cover. That's going to be beautifully taken by Van Heeren. I'm a rugby supporter, says Kevin. Now rolling maul. Doesn't really work out. Back to his feet there. Marco van Staden has a second crack at it. He's going to be held up by Ethan Bester. Now advantage still in play for the Bulls. Should mention that they are playing with 14 on the field, as Willie LaRue did get that yellow card about 9 minutes ago. Ambros Papier goes off to Marco van Staden, and they will go back for the penalty again this time. Now, this one is a kickable 3. Captain being called over too. This is sounding like a last warning for the Sharks. Couple in a row that they're giving away. And David Creel will once again kick for the corner. And a minute you would tell me the All Blacks were not food poisoned, says Kevin. Willie LaRue now going to make his way, I believe, back out onto the field. And Colin Meads and Frick Duprea would have been brilliant in the same team. And Kevin Box, 4 times world champions, remember that, says George. And that's going to be thrown in. Nicely taken, couple metres out, and it is once again sacked at the maul. I don't think it's an advantage, though, in their favour. 1 metre out. Oh, no, that was actually really dumb. Unfortunately, oh no, they already had a penalty though, so they will go back for the yellow card. But yeah, one of the teammates of the Bulls player actually rolled him over, and he wasn't going to be able to score because he was on his back. But now 5 metres out from the line, once again, the Bulls have got another penalty, and Jason Jenkins is the man who will be going to the bin for the next 10. So for the Bulls, they get the return. For the Sharks, they are losing their player for the second half, or at least some of it anyway. Right, Willie LaRue already back out there on the field talking to the ref straight away. And saying the Box cheat to win. Oh, are you interested in local Sararingan Derby? Seriously? Says Viv B. Oh, that's brilliant 4 times by 1995. Always be the question mark. Or but, I think that is from Kevin. Now, line out throw. Johan Rubala hasn't scored as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets one soon. That ball is available. Rubala tackled well. Like he almost got his head on the wrong side there. Pepsi Buthelezi. Lost ball. It's gone backwards. Now there's the knock on, and that will be half-time. 10 points to 7. A close one between these two sides for this URC South African derby. Oh. That might have actually been Maveseri. He looks like he's a bit rocked at the moment. Had to be helped off the field, or at least assisted off the field by the medic. Just trying to see in the background whether or not he is jogging off with the team or whether he's a bit slower going off. Oh no, now he's jogging, so that's a good sign. But yeah, halftime in this contest, 10 points to 7. Close between them. And still plenty of action still to come for the second 40. Box only allowed to play Rugby World Cup from 1995. Else they might have won it 5 times. Says betting off. We will get some stats to do with this first half of rugby It's been a seesaw. I think that both sides have had things that they would have liked to do a little bit better. The clinicalness of the two teams as well has been a little bit lower than expected, seeing as when we look through at the way that it sits, I mean, you see that points differential. 68 for the Bulls, 15 for the Sharks. So we are used to seeing a lot more points being scored for them. Leinster at the top of the bunch, they've got 176, which is a massive differential at this point in time. I think the chat needs more sugar in the blood for inflammation. Send me the Livestream website. There is no Livestream website other than TVNZ. I wonder if tell you what, this is the link for TVNZ for being able to watch the game. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. I don't think it will, though, unless you've got a New Zealand VPN on. I'm British, but I always want a fair game, even when England play. Says Kevin, standout players for the first half. I think we saw brilliant work from Yapinke for the Sharks. He was really, really strong. Chichuka had a couple decent moments. In terms of the backline, Ethan Hooker, and the times that he did touch the ball, didn't look too bad. And then for the Bulls, in terms of their lineup, I would say Kane and Moody in the short amount of times that he touched the ball, and then a bit of work from Marco van Staden. Other than that, though, a lot of guys were pretty quiet. And we have good there, Hamish. Have you been anything countries? Is that as in any other countries? I've been to Australia and Indonesia. Those are the only two countries other than New Zealand that I have visited. I did almost go to Fiji, but it was during a time where we had too many live streams, so the family all went and I stayed here and streamed, which was an interesting choice, I do have to say. Like, the commitment to the channel, it was certainly there. But, yeah, hopefully get to Fiji at some point in the future. Hopefully it wasn't my only chance to go as a sports journalist. Highlights Bevan as well as the controversial final, says Kevin. And poor Bull says Colin. Yeah, not their best half of rugby, unfortunately for them, but they've still got another 40 minutes. Possession, they had 39% for the home team. Sharks had 61. Clean breaks 5-1 in favour of the Sharks. Defenders beaten 13-3. So also in their favour in that regard. The Sharks, territory 68%. And my grandparents were from Britain. Where were yours from, Hamish? I think originally way down the line there was some Scottish, maybe? But I think from Britain as well, possibly. I actually don't really know. I think my sister did like an ancestry thing to work out where we're from, but I don't know what her results were. It's 82% in the tackling success for the Sharks, 74 for the Bulls. They've missed 13 tackles in total throughout the half. And then in terms of the penalty count, 8 against the Sharks, 5 against the Bulls. Villy LaRue getting yellow carded, and then also at the end of the half, we saw Jason Jenkins get yellow carded for the Sharks. But yeah, overall, a few metres made across both of the teams. In terms of the clean breaks, we've seen 2 for Ethan Hooker. We've seen 58 metres gained for Yapinke. The most metres made by any of the Bulls players is actually 16, and that's by Carr. And Hooker was very good for the Bulls. Marco bullish as always. I thought the Bulls going to steamroll the Sharks. The Bulls still at only 7 points. There's been a lot of points left out there from that first half, so I feel like whoever is the more clinical throughout the second 40, they should win this game. But yeah, we'll be interested to see how these two sides come out firing. We've already seen a couple changes being made for this Bulls team. Or sorry, for the Sharks team. We saw Jacobs make his way on, and also Ethan Bester. Those are due to 2 injuries. One for Trevor Nakanye, one for Bongi Umbanambi. Okay, so the commentary has just pretty much said that the first thing that they need to do is wake up for the Bulls. They feel like they've lacked intensity and that they haven't quite been their normal selves. Now that they've got a man advantage for the next 10 minutes, perhaps that is exactly what they need, though, to be able to find that next gear and continue to push. The Sharks, we have got their haggis, Hamish. I've never tried haggis. with a name like Hamish, you're definitely Scottish. And you know, but it's not because of Scottish heritage that I'm called Hamish. It was just my mum and dad looked at me and went, he kind of looks like a Hamish, so we'll go with that. So, like, there wasn't any other reasoning other than the name that they called me was because I kind of look like myself, if that makes sense. And what we can say with 100%, these two teams without so many blocks will not win any playoffs, says Eric. And what then, guys, what must I do? So you have to either be in New Zealand or set yourself on your VPN so that you are from New Zealand according to that VPN to be able to watch through TVNZ. Good Lord, injuries, says Gladette. There's been a few. And hopefully we don't see too many more throughout the next 40 minutes. And does the table or points table look after Lions' victory? It does not. So the Lions are actually sitting in 10th. Stormers are sitting in 9th at the moment in the overall standings. So there is a little bit of updating that would need to be done for it to be correct. But we'll put it up here. There we go. So yeah, pretty much it is the case of Stormers in 9th because they got the losing bonus point, and then the Lions are in 10th because they managed to get themselves the 4 points. But if they had won with a bonus point, they would have, of course, been higher than the Stormers. Looking at what's coming up for these two sides for the Bulls, next week they will be playing the Lions, and then the Sharks in 2 weeks' time, they will be playing the Lions. So everyone playing the Lions in the very near future, and the Bulls in that week where the Lions are playing the Sharks, the Bulls are actually going to be taking on the Stormers. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one as well. Yeah, second half, not a mile away. About to be back into the action. Meters made 210 for the Sharks compared to the 75 meters made by the Bulls, and then 29 tackles made by the Sharks compared to the 62 tackles made by their home team. Ospreys have a funny logo. Can we please see a baby photo and see if you look like a Hamish? Says Lily B. I don't think I have one handy that I know of. Yeah, I don't think I've got one unless there's like a random one that I can find on my desktop. Other than that, though, I've got one of me wearing a Springboks kit, but like not actually. It was just me with a Springboks kit put on, like as in like edited on. Yeah, I don't think I've got one of me as a child by the looks of it. And Ospreys have a funny logo. I read that one. And after 40, you can injure yourself by sleeping. That is true. Sleeping is dangerous. Of course, it's good for you, but can cause issues as well. But yeah, the picture that I was talking about was from a video a while ago. It was when I couldn't pick a number 8, so I just put myself as it, and there's me with my Springbok kit on. So we're going to have a bit of a trivia question, ladies and gentlemen. I put my head on a current Springbok. Whose arms and watch is this? Do let me know. Everyone gets one guess. First one to get it, I'll just put the message up on the screen and say congratulations. So whose arms are these? Because they ain't mine. Mine do not look like that. They're a lot more pale and they are a lot less muscly if we're looking for myself. But do let me know. That's a halftime quiz. We don't normally have a halftime quiz, but today we are having one. Let's see if anyone can get it. I'll leave it up for a bit longer. Ox. It's a good guess. Not quite, no. Not Ox Nasher's arms in that case. Yeah, just doing an ad for KFC. It's currently 5 a.m. Dear Lindy? No. Good guess, though. Chislin Colby? No. Little Quagga Smith? No. No one's got it just yet, but someone was close. Any other guesses? Jesse Creel? No. Eben? No. Those arms would have been the size of my head if that was Eben Etzebeth, as he is a very solid unit, of course. Afternoon, Hamish, says Nico B. Welcome in. A buff Pollard? It is not Pollard. Damien? It is not. It does look like Damien Dearlinder. I will give you guys credit for that guess, but it is not him. Current Springbok. From the 50 players that Rassi used, this is one of them, and he's got a fancy watch. didn't quite match the tan, to be honest. I was still too pale. But currently halftime at the moment. It is sitting 7 points to 10. Faf, it is not Faf. Ollie, says JD, it is not. And Nasbotha, no, current Springbok. He drew Pollard, says John. It is not Pollard. Must be back, or must be a back. You are correct, yes. So it is a back for the Springboks from the recent season. LaRue, it is not Philly LaRue. I'll give you a hint, seeing as we haven't got it just yet. We just got it. Martin got it. It is Cobus Reinach. I assume that's who you were meaning in that case, Martin, but yeah, Cobus Reinach is the head. Oh, no, sorry, I'm the head. As you can tell, it looks like me. But yeah, the body was Cobus Reinach, so very good guess there. Maybe, I don't know whether or not that's a game that we could play in the future. Each week I'll just put my head on a Springbok body and we'll work out who it is. If that's a game you guys want, let me know. It filled in half time though, because we're actually back for the second half now. The legend from Belito KZNC, my hint was going to be he signed with the South African team, but he currently doesn't play in South Africa. So, like, he was, yeah, that's for the Stormers. What's the question, says Claudette? It was whose body it was, and it was Cobus Reinach. But now second half underway, just like that. It was a very quick halftime break. And 0-0, says Tibor. Kicked high towards the touchline, does get it out. I mean, Sergio Peterson, that was a really interesting tactic. He punched the ball forward, so it gave them option of either a line out or a scrum, but it was already out. Let's play it again, please. I don't have another picture, but I'll come up with one for next. Although next week we haven't got the... Oh, no, we have got one game of the URC. So we'll do it for next week. We'll stick to international players for now, though, because or else then, like, URC level, it might be quite hard. That could be fun. Great idea, says Amanda. Oh, that's going to be knocked on from Vincent Tichuka. They are just talking about the fact that he has already left the field and sadly does not look like he will be returning for this game or for any in the near future. David Creel tackled again by Vincent Tichuka. Had quite a busy first 40 minutes. Good idea, Hamish. Good quiz, says JD. And Andre stays and says Mate. Not a mile off. See, Damien Dialende, I think, was the closest guess in terms of, like, I could see that as Dialende. Now, Siamasuku. Kick the ball downfield. And that's a very good kick from Masuku. The ball bounced nicely just outside of the 22. My wife picked Cobus. Thanks, love, says Martin. Does that mean that she's been paying close attention to Cobus Reinach and his frame? To be fair, like, he has a... Now that I've seen it, like, in terms of when I decided to go with Cobus, it was because he was a smaller player, to be honest. Like, I didn't want one of those guys who was super bulky. But then Cobus Reinach's still in much better shape than I will ever be. Too much, bro, says Martin. And, well, you can tell by the way I walk that I'm a man. No time to talk. Interesting. On the Bulls, second half be better. Nicely claimed at line-out time. They have got themselves the advantage. Just a bit ill-disciplined throughout that first half for both teams, in fact. 13 penalties combined. And they will now get themselves the penalty. Oh, double blow of the whistle. It sounds like it's going to be a second last warning for Vincent Tichuka. Okay, referee's pretty much said you've had 10 minutes to think about it. Don't keep giving away penalties. You've already got someone in the bin. I'll put another one in there. So, pretty straightforward. They can't give away too many more extras without finding themselves going down to 13. It's Jason Jenkins. He's still got another 8 minutes or so remaining for his yellow card. Okay, Bulls, let's do it this time we can, says Amanda. Yeah, both of these sides, it looked like after we had 2 tries in the first 10 minutes of this game, seemed like both sides were relatively certain to at least get close to a bonus point. Now we've reached that stalemate where neither side are really flying forward. Time is back on. And Villy LaRue will kick this one towards the touchline. Bismarck, is that? From ACDV. And come on the Bulls. Right, referee just establishing where the middle of the line out is. There's been a lot of stop-start in this game in terms of the little double blows of the whistles and resets, etc. Nassim Carr moves now to about 53 metres out from the opposition line, and Broz Papi, a lot of pressure on him in the breakdown, and that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Bulls. They played the 9. Okay, it's going to be a different penalty to the others. So in that case, it is going to be just a warning yet again. They're living dangerously now, the Sharks. And these YouTube ads sucks, says George. Now Villy LaRue, another chance to kick this one towards the touchline. Oh, a little bit of an awkward kick there from LaRue by the looks of it. Kept it relatively low. Like they've said, it was a good counter-ruck, but that arm went out the side, so playing the 9, not allowed to do that. Now it's going to be another line-out. Penalties conceded 10 against the Sharks. Now that number is increasing drastically. Nicely claimed again by Reniard Ludwig. Rolling Mauls looking strong. Advantage goes the way of the Bulls. Best to defends. But this might be someone going to the bin. Onto the left-hand side, Devin Williams trying to show his pace. Yapenke is there. There's a double blow of the whistle. Who's going to the bin? I just want to mention Claudette, new member. She lost her dad, who would have loved your channel and commentary. Till the next game, says Craig Stevens. So we do appreciate you being here and also bringing Claudette in. I am sorry to hear about what's happened, but yeah, it is great to have you here for these streams. I love the commentary, says Dean in there. Thank you very much. All right, 2 yellow cards for the Sharks. I think Villy LaRue, I think they're going to go for the corner here, but this is where the Sharks are going to let themselves down. My finger gets sore, tapping the skip, says Bruce. About 7 metres out from the line now. Jason Jenkins and Corne Raul. I didn't realise it was actually Raul that went off, but both locks off the field at the moment. Who are they going to lift? Vincent Tachuka, I guess, if they were to lift someone who's winning so far. At the moment, the Sharks are ahead by 3, but the Bulls have a 2-man advantage. So they should be able to score here. And if they don't, it would be extremely surprising. Here comes Johan Robala and over the line for the try. At the start of the match, I felt like he was someone who could have a really strong chance of scoring, and he has just done that. But the ill discipline is hurting, even with VPN set to New Zealand. Can't access TVNZ. Also enrolled. I think it picks up VPN used. Not necessarily. I think it depends on your VPN, because when I was in Australia, I was able to use it with the VPN on. So which VPN do you use, Viv? Annoying when you post your comments and then Hamish replies, YouTube ads pops up, says JD. And Chantel, the one that has 10 points. And who's winning so far? So now the Bulls, the switch in the lead. As we currently sit. Vincent Tachuka just having a bit of a conversation there. Sorry, you missed it. We went to the sin bin. So Corne Raul joined his teammate Jason Jenkins in the sin bin. For that case, I'm in Australia. VPN McAfee. I didn't even know McAfee had a VPN. To be honest, I was using NordVPN when I did it. I don't know whether that would make all the difference. I just joined. I already thought they have more points already. See you, Chantel. Yeah, honestly, like both of these sides, like the way that they started, both had a try within 10 minutes. So it seemed like they were destined to get a huge score, but yeah, definitely took a little bit longer for both sides to find their stride. And some would argue they still haven't. And Raul and Jenkins in the bin, coach to transgress. Says betting off. I don't think you'd be very happy as a coach losing both of your locks. Although Jason Jenkins not too far off making his way back on. Good balls. Says Rudolph. They have moved up to 12 points to 10. And that's going to be another penalty going against the Sharks. This is becoming repetitive at the moment. Misconversion, yep, did miss in the end, so 12 points to 10, the way that it is going to stay. It was scored right on the touchline, and David Creel unable to convert. Time Yapinke, probably one of his first mistakes that he's actually made throughout this game. Other than that, he has been extremely strong for the first 48 minutes. My dad played for the Bulls, scrum half. It was called a Northern Transvaal in 1956, says Claudette there. So the Bulls scrum half back in the day. Pretty awesome. Great job, Bulls, says Amanda. And yeah, they're on a bit of a roll at the moment, I'll be honest. They should score again with a two-man advantage if they can get their back line right. And then that would only put them one try away from a bonus point. So closing the gap between them and the leaders, Leinster. Now 15, it's another advantage. This whole game's going to be played under penalty advantage against the Sharks if they're not careful. That is a massive rolling maul. In fact, that's probably run about 35 metres forward. Anyone else think there's a shortage of goal kicking teams in the world? A little bit. Like, it depends on what level of goal kicker you're looking at. Like, nowadays it seems to be a lot less likely to have an extremely highly, or like a high percentage of kicking. Oh no, it's another yellow card. They're down to 12. The referee's being relentless, but at the same time, the Sharks do kind of deserve it because they're giving away all these dumb penalties. But this time now it's going to be Intutuku Machunu who makes his way off. If I was the Bulls, I'd take a scrum here. They're missing 3 forwards. Surely you get a pushover penalty. And if they take the scrum, I believe it would almost be non-contested. Okay, Vincent Jajuka just having a conversation with the ref saying, don't you think you're being a little bit too harsh, ref? Okay, you've got to know my process and I'm not going to stop. Said like someone who enjoys the power of being the referee. And after that disastrous Stormers game, let's see if the Sharks can tame the Bulls. Okay, it's going to be about 40 metres out, so I don't think they'll go for the scrum anymore. I think instead the rolling maul would be the better option. You just go through a phase of bad place kickers, and that's the game. How many minutes on Jenkins? He's still got 1 minute, I believe. Although by the time this one goes out, I think it might be Jenkins returning. 10's outdated, says JD. But yeah, massive rolling maul, just bulldozing its way towards the try line. Now, they have to try and defend. In fact, that clock's gone back a little bit, so Jenkins, either way though, has made his way back on. Sharks left their discipline in the sheds at halftime, says Matthew. It seems that way. Like, they didn't have a huge penalty count against them, like maybe 7 or 8 in the first half, which isn't ideal, of course, but they've already given away about 4 throughout the second half, and we're only 8 minutes in. Both teams have great players, but my heart will always be with the Sharks, says Chantal there. Yeah, if they can get through this period without conceding any more penalties, and without conceding a try as well during this 10-minute phase, I'd still have a decent chance. Oh, Gumedi looked like he knocked that ball on. Yes, he did. That's not actually that good for the Sharks, because now they have to make up a scrum. Bit of push and shove, Gumedi. And is that going to be upgraded to a penalty against Gumedi there? Haters going to hate, says George, and I think Dobo. Is way past the sell-by date for a while now. The Stormers have not achieved anything. Time to change coaches, says Ernest. And used to keep control of the flow of the games and kick pins and conversions. Ball playing 10s haven't filled the gap yet. Now the scrum. Sharks for life, says music is my therapist. Says, well, literally says music is my therapist. I think I almost repeated myself there. Yeah, they're still in this game, which is surprising with the amount of penalties that they've given away. How much do you think these championship teams should play a tactical kicking game or running rugby more? It depends on the game. Like, I do think running rugby would be the way to go here. Looks like making his way from the field is going to be Johan Robela, who has been subbed. Referee asking for a good scrum. And geez, look, Bulls back in front again, love it. And that's going to be for Aka van der Merwe now, who makes his way on. The loose head. So Chamberlain's on for LaRue. Just trying to work out what they've done with this scrum at the moment. I believe Machunu's replacement is on because of that yellow card. Sharks are going to have a tough job getting this ball out of the scrum. The extra pressure they're trying to put on. Ruan Dreyer is the man who came on for Machunu. And let's go, the Sharks, says Aniki there. Still anyone's game, but like I said, the Bulls are in the box seat. They've got that two-man advantage for the next maybe 7 or so minutes. The Sharks have got possession if they can get this scrum in their favour. Okay, Grant Williams asking for the penalty. He will not receive it. It's gone down in the front row and the Bulls do get the penalty. It's always going to be tough with them playing with 7 in their scrum. I just see Ras's tweet about tactical kicking games. I assume that's the one about the France versus England game, and he said that it was an entertaining fixture, even though it had a lot of kicks. But yeah, like, games with a lot of kicking can be entertaining. I feel like there's a stigma around the fact that if there's a lot of kicking, it won't be, like, as good, but, like, it just depends. Tactically, you know, you're always going to see some kicking in a game of rugby. If you didn't, then sides would get forced further and further back and eventually end up conceding, just like we see in the 7 side of things. Aka van der Merwe now. Line out throw, nicely taken to the back by Gumedi. Who did he think he was going to there? It went straight to Vincent Tichuca, but luckily for him, Tichuca dropped it. Marius van der Vesthuizen is on a power trip for far too long. South Africa Rugby needs to sort him out. For the record, I'm a Bull supporter. Says Jacques. Yeah, I mean, that comment that he made before, I can't even remember what the quote was that I said, but he pretty much said, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going if you give away more penalties. But now 5 metres out from the line, Gumedi's knocked it on. Going back for the original knock-on advantage. Quite far across the field, though. And we have got there coming the Sharks. Let's go big. There's a letter there. Yeah, Gumedi's not happy. That's about his second or third mistake since making his way onto the field, and he's only been on for some of the second half. Good attack and shot from Vincent Tichuca is what knocked it through. Nines do all the kicking now, despite the 50-22 rule. Says Jimbo. And absolutely Jimbo overwhelming for the 10s today. But the Bulls, they'll be confident. If they won the scrum penalty against the feed in the last one, the fact that they've got the feed now, it's going to be tough. And if Supersport, it is a shame that there's no free-to-air option in South Africa for these games. I feel like there should be. Like, at the end of the day, people love watching rugby, and it's even better when you're able to access it for free. I know that at one point, was it SABC, they secured the rights for like one game of the Rugby Championship, but that was about it. George Nass was great for me, the best. Too many box injured. Kits off Mbanambi, Koch, Etzebeth, Khaleesi, Lowe, Honeycomb, Nokia, and more. Says Sean. Yeah, and then you look at that back line as well. Esterhazen, I think he's still out with the injury. Apalele Fasi. Like, yeah, there's so many at the moment who have got those injuries. But hopefully by the time the Springbok season comes around, there will be a lot of those guys back and rearing to go. Though by the sounds of it, Etzebeth, after his last concussion, he sounds like he's possibly thinking about hanging up the boots, which is a massive shame if he was to not return. I am thanks to the commentary. Go the Bulls, go. Says not Queen. Now scrum feed for the Bulls. It's actually quite hard to get the grip under the feet. Yep, going down straight away and no advantage. I really hope the ref doesn't give a scrum yellow card, because they are outmatched at the moment in the scrum department. Oh, a little bit of push and shove there. Lukanyuam and Gumedi having a bit of a wrestle. He kicks him away in the end, and the referee says, hang on, you two are fighting. So he's going to stop the game. Uh-oh. TMO, Lukanyuam. He's got a bit of a limp after trying to tussle with Gumedi. I'm not sure who this is actually going to be against, though, because it seemed like both of them were just as bad as each other. Multi-choice would go broke if they play or if they have free-to-air rugby. All right, they're going upstairs. Gumedi and Lukanyuam. Who started it? Who finished it? So, oh no, it's Lorenzo Julius, my apologies. It's the big shot first. Then, yeah, Lukanyuam gets picked up by Gumedi. So that's going to be the penalty, more than likely, against Gumedi. It just seems like he can't do much right at the moment. I know that sounds harsh, but he's dropped the ball a couple of times. He lost the line out by giving it away to the opposition, and now he's given away some foul play, which there was absolutely no need for. Probably lucky Lukanyuam didn't land awkwardly, or else it probably would have been a yellow card. Do the Kiwi Lads have an Instagram account or just YouTube? Just YouTube, but I do have an Instagram for the Kiwi Lads. We just haven't posted on it. But if you want to follow it, go for it. We reply to the messages that we get on there, but that's the link for the Instagram. Well, the name of the Instagram anyway. They just want to see whether or not Gumedi did enough to get this as a yellow card. So Lukanyuam went for the turnover, then Gumedi stood up to flip him over, which you are not allowed to do. Okay. It's a penalty only. Okay, so because it is foul play, it will overrule the scrum penalty that the Bulls had. So stupidity from Gumedi, giving away a perfect position for the Bulls to be able to attack once more. And this will use up more time on the Sharks' yellow cards. So it is going to be reversed. Gumedi having an awful start to his game. Come on, really? I'm jumping on Gumedi's back. There's nothing in it, says Eric. Although they do still consider it as foul play. And as we know, this referee, if he gets the chance to blow the whistle, he certainly will. So they need to know that, the players, and they can't afford to even give him a chance to blow it. Going to be kicked into touch now. Sharks have got themselves the line out. Youngster Ethan Bester, Kevin. He was great, no doubt about it, but Carter was levels above the competition. So here's George. 26 minutes left, so not a mile off Corne Ral being able to return onto the field after his yellow card. Yellow cards are, what can I say, definitely not a Valentine's card, says Kevin. And it's going to be stolen by the Bulls. Nicely done at the line out. Akafana Merva goes out to Nazim Carr. Now Kanan Moody, a man who we've hardly seen. He kicks it in behind, trying to win the foot race. Gone into touch. Was it a 50-22? Because it wasn't a mile off, I don't think, for Moody. Jordan Hendrickson was not letting him take the ball, though, that is for sure. Where was this kicked? Oh, no, about 40 metres out from the line, I believe it was. So no 50-22, but the Sharks now have been pushed back into their own 22-metre line. Kanan Moody currently ranked 92nd in the overall URC top 100. Now another change about to take place. Lavaskachny, he will make his way on. Is that for Corne Ral? Is that the straight swap? It might be. And too many penalties, says Claudette. So that is the straight swap for Corne Ral, who will not return back to the field after his yellow card. So the Sharks back to 14 now. Yapinke. Haven't seen a huge amount of him throughout the second half of rugby, unfortunately. Grant Williams told to use it. Told to use it again. Be careful, can't take too long. I was in a few high school classes with Carter at CBHS, True Story Year 2000. So here's Damo. Is that Christchurch Boys High School, I assume? Now going to be passed off to Jason Jenkins. Quick hands here to Renzo Julius. Hasn't had too much of a chance. Inside ball to Jordan Hendricks, and the Sharks score the try. That's a massive moment. The Bulls had 12 players across from them at one point. 13 and now 14, and they still haven't been able to score points. Now the Sharks have their first attack back on attack, and they score. That's better, says Graham. Any surprises in Super Rugby today? Or in New Zealand Rugby today? Not a huge amount, I don't think. Overall, I feel like there are a few good up-and-coming talents and whatnot, but no surprises as of yet. And I'm loving it. Oh, yeah, what a moment. Says Martin, let's go the Sharks. Says Lilia B. Back in the day, Gareth Edwards was the best player I've ever seen. The great Welsh scrum half. And yes, Sharks, let's go. But yeah, just one attacking play. Counter-attack leads to the points. Hendricks cannot convert, so the score will remain 15 points to 12. Both sides having 2 tries here, and the Sharks still playing with the one-man disadvantage. Like they've said, it will be a big booster to the confidence. And Julius with a good inside ball to Hendricks, who had a great support run. Bulls are definitely winging this game. Either that or the players are striking about the salary, says Paitai. Like they've just said, Lavaskakni, his first little moment on the field was a touch to help them get in the direction of scoring. No man Sharks, says Claudette. And seriously, can't the teams I picked just win? Just please win, says George. Blue boys playing like boys, or Blue Bulls playing like boys, I think that is, from Colin. And conversion was unsuccessful. There haven't been a huge amount of kicks going over today. Nicely taken. Now on the halfway line, the Bulls running it back. It's going to be Devin Williams almost sneaking through, but Lavaskakni is there. That was a knock-on from Ambrose Papier. I'm surprised that they missed it. I can hear someone talking in the background. I think there might have been one of the assistant referees mentioning about it. Enrico is done. I wouldn't mind seeing Clark at outside centre, says Matthew. Now going back across to the left-hand side. An advantage for the Bulls. Never onside. Okay, there we go. Clear knock-on by Blue. Someone's found it. So it's no longer going to be the penalty against the Sharks, and instead they'll go back for the knock-on from Ambrose Papier. I am very surprised they missed that. I saw on Edwards try versus Ireland, where he was close line 3 times by Irish defenders, but kept his feet to score. He was awesome, says Jimbo, and Sharks are playing well, says Michael. And Bulls wake up, says Not Queen. 21 minutes remaining now. And Jumbo yet to see a better player, says Kevin. The crowd looks like they are having a lot of fun in the stands. Both sides still feel like they've got a decent chance of being able to close out this game with a win. What a game. Bulls don't let me shout like this. Come on, the Bulls. We can do it if just stay with the basics, says Amanda. Now that ball has come out the back. Going to be another advantage in favour of the Bulls. 22 metres out from the line, and Ambrose Papier goes across to Reniard Ludwig. Now Papier again, Biota Chamberlain with the no-look pass that goes to no one. So they will go back for the original advantage. Ever since the URC final last year seemed to damage the spirit of the Bulls. Says George, and very disappointed in the Bulls, says Colin, and Sharks are playing well. They can't go surfing too many bunghole logs in the sea. Our ref is a bit much, says Claudette. He is at a big control of this game, I think is the best way of saying it. Quite strict in the decisions. And still lots of time left. I mean, we've seen 4 yellow cards now that I think about it across this game. Chamberlain kicks it for touch. Does get it out about maybe 6 metres from the line. And Ntotoko Machunu, he will make his way back onto the field. And Jacobs, he has come off. And Naughty Ad says Matthew, and still lots of time left. There's still 20 minutes remaining in this match, so either side can still secure this one, but the Bulls are in a very good position here, just out from the Sharks line with the line out rolling maul option if they can retain, which it is a good throw. Now Johan Hrubala looking for this ball. He's ended up with it and he's knocked it on. Sharks getting the steal and the penalty goes the way of the Sharks for a deliberate knockdown. Dan helped me out with a video for that show, Sports Safe, back in 2003. It's on YouTube called Damo Mania. There's a Damo there. And player of the match so far, I would say, I mean, Yapinka was definitely pick of the first half. Second half, like, I wouldn't say anyone's really hugely stepped up second half up till this stage. Like, yeah, overall, like, Kane Moody, he had one run at Sports Cafe, says Damo. And Yellow says Graham. And a lot can happen in the last minutes, though I'm not getting too excited, says Chantel. Who's the ref? It is Marius van der Vesterhuizen, who is in charge of this matchup. And Bulls shouldn't lose. They had 3 players less on the Sharks side. And yeah, the Sharks have managed to survive that period without conceding, which is pretty impressive. Oh, they got told no hands. Robert almost given away the penalty. Grant Williams. In fact, it's his replacement, Davids, now. Goes to Sergil Pedersen. First time he's touched the ball that I can think of anyway in a very long time. Maybe he had it in the first half at one point. And the ads are so stupid, especially when the woman tries rapping about delivery. Says George. How long before full time? Says Freak. At the moment, oh, beautiful offload from Bradley Davids, keeping the ball alive. That is forward, though, from Lorenzo Julius. Again, apologises to his teammates. But yeah, till the final whistle, we've got around 17 minutes remaining. Second, Refa's second half outstanding player. Marius van der Vesterhuizen making the game awful, says Will. Yeah, we're definitely far away from a free-flowing game of rugby. Definitely in the second half. Bulls useless, says Peter. And Sharks seem to do well with only 12 players when they play the Bulls, says Lilia B. Still time for a bonus point for both of these teams. 4 tries. It's going to be tough, but definitely doable. I mean, we saw both sides score within the first 10 minutes of the matchup. Now, going to be another scrum for the Bulls in a good position on the field, about 25 metres out. They do love themselves a scrum advantage. They have received multiple throughout this contest. Poor ref really, says Colin. Now, Ambros Papier to put the ball in. And that one, whoa, no, they've called it as a wheeling scrum, so no penalty awarded as of yet. And great win for a Zebra in Edinburgh last night. Yeah, they're a little bit of an underappreciated side, Zebra, and some of the wins that they have been able to get. This game's going to be close to 2 hours, though. Probably one of the longer URC games we have seen in recent times. That is because of all the stoppages that we've noticed. A nice view to share, mate. And Dinkara and you, lucky you, mate. And there is a new KFC ad in Australia, and they are putting their fingers in their mouths and then putting their fingers in other people's mouths. That's so gross, says Matthew. And when will they bring in disciplinary hearings for refs? Should also have match bans for poor performance. That time it goes to the Sharks at scrum time. It's been happening all day, but that's the first time he's penalised it. So I feel like that comment is a bit redundant if it's been happening, unless he's saying in general it's been happening all day. Leinster only winning by 3, says Sean, but a win's a win. They are still undefeated for this URC season. Who would have thought that a Scottish side would humble the Bulls, especially at Loftus, says George. It's very difficult to be a ref, says Xander. That is true. And Come on the Bulls, says Ben. And my Bulls playing so poorly that I'm glad I don't have a VPN, says Peter. Yeah, frustration for the Gerhard Stennekamp. 4 of the last 5 penalties have been against the Bulls. I think the only one that went against the Sharks was actually a scrum. But Zach Berger now making his way onto the field. That is for Ambrose Papier. Klopper is also on the field. And then I think Kirsten also is on. Yes, he is. Now the Sharks looking for a rolling ball. They aren't really going anywhere as of yet. You see Stormers, Emus Marius last week. If he was the ref, you would have won the Bulls easily, says Eric. Nicely taken to the back for Devin Williams. He's running towards his own try line. Ethan Hooker makes 2 tackles on him, gets in the breakdown, wins the turnover for the Sharks. Slap back, almost another handling error. Now Sharks with Bradley Davids goes across to Pepsi Butalazy. One more score for the Sharkies. Good night, says Graham. And yeah, they have to be very careful here, the Bulls, because there isn't a lot of time left. If they were to concede, they would be outside of that 7-point margin. Mavaseri, another run for him. Bradley Davids, poor decision, goes for the chip in behind, and it is an awful choice. And now the Bulls are able to clear their lines. Been some poor decisions made throughout this game by both sides, to be honest. Just running the ball seems to be just as effective, but they don't want to do it. Jaden Hendricks, a tackle well by Kanan Moody. Ball pops out the side. Moody picks it up, goes for the grubber, tackled late, and then the ball goes dead. Do you see a future where there is no on-field refs, only TV refs? I don't think so. But, who knows? Maybe. If enough refs decide that they don't want to do it anymore, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because it's a terrible job to be a ref. It's a thankless job anyway. Either way, one side don't like you. Pretty much every single contest that you've ever refereed. And go the Sharks, says Indy. Now 13 minutes remaining. Said he's out of play, so they're going to keep going. I think there's an injury maybe in back play. But I don't like the fact that the Sharks went for the kick there when they were on hot attack. No one's grubbers have been working today. Should have been a try. But now they lost a lot of ground. 22 dropout for the Sharks. The Bulls have this one now with Gumeri running it straight at Vincent Tichuca. Now Johan Rubala. Expect to see him probably out there for the rest of this game to a certain extent. They have Aka van der Merwe on there for a bit, but I think he's been taken back off. Loose ball picked up now by Maveseri. Great step from the big man. It's going to be a foot race. Foster can't stop him. And the Sharks get the interception try. And should be chips to refs. Might be easier to train. Worst game of the year for the Bulls, says Outlaw, and that's going to make it worse. Now 8 points difference. The Sharks fans. Oh, has he hurt himself here, Mavaseri? He's going to stay down for a bit. The Zimbabwean. And come on, the boys, says JD. And there are basically 4 refs on field, 2 touch and TMO. Surely they should get it right. And that's the ball game, says Graham. But yeah, just a loose ball. The Bulls not getting it right in their back line. And by the sounds of it, it's been cleared. So it is a good try for Maveseri. And game, set, match, says George. Important kick, though, in this case, or else a try and a penalty would get the Bulls back into the game. But it's going to be Masuku, who lines it up normally safe as houses and once again gets the ball over, making the score now 22 points to 12. Game over for the pathetic Bulls, says Colin. And embarrassing Bulls, says Outlaw. Yeah, it's been far from the perfect game for them. The fact that I hate to keep bringing it up because it does make it sound much worse for them, but the fact that at one point they were facing 12 players and they couldn't score. Then they were facing 13, couldn't score. 57 minutes the ball game says Original Venom. We're up to 69 minutes now. So a lot closer to the end. Nicely taken by Jordan Hendrickse. Foster off the field for Dianti. Bulls missing Honeycomb, absolutely missing Eldrick Lowe as another big player that they haven't got available here. That one's going to be kicked into dark. Sharks all the way, says Inky Powell. The Sharks at kickoff coming in as a $4.80 underdog. Certainly proved a lot of people wrong with the way that they've played out here. Shocking to go from 12 men to 10 points down. Can I get excited now, says Chantel? Almost. I'd say still a couple more minutes just to guarantee that the Bulls aren't going to sneak a quick fire try, because or else then you will be a bit nervous. But I'd say you're getting close to a celebration for the Sharks. And yeah, I see there is a delay. Shiz says Original Venom. And well done the Sharks, says Wendy. Now going to be thrown in. Kirsten going back across. Chamberlain to Carr. Onto the halfway line. He's getting ragdolled on the ground. By the looks of it, someone had his jersey and they were not letting go. Skip past Devin Williams. Goes out to Sir Jill Pedersen. And turnover by Lucanio Arm. Slapping it back onto the side off the Sharks. Well handled by Jordan Hendrickse. Good game, Sharks. Bulls useless. Yes, Chantel, you can. Congratulations, Sharks. Bulls, no comment. Says George. Now kicking it high for Sia Masuku. Hanging in the air. Oh, Labaskachny thought about going for it, but he got slammed in the side by Dianti, who was also contesting us. Sharks by 10. Nice boys, says Jean. Now back across to the left-hand side. Now just 10 minutes remaining on the clock. Lucanio Arm uses some of his pace. Try and go through the gap. Bulls certainly the cows, and not dark yet, but it's getting there. Says Graham. And now Ethan Hooker kicks it forward. Ball at the back. Taken by Chamberlain. Offloads it to Williams. And he'll put the ball out. Sharks shouldn't relax now. We've seen what can happen, or what has happened in the last 10 minutes in recent games, says Lilia B. That is true. As soon as you get complacent and you think you've done enough, that's when your opposition normally strike. So, like you've said, they have to be extremely clinical throughout this last 9 minutes. The clock is counting down quickly. But yeah, they have to be safe. And Sharks go the Sharks. Says Jean. Crowd attendance 23,307 watching on for this game. And there will be a lot of Bulls disappointed fans in the stands, including that man. His wife was trying to give him a hug. He looked absolutely heartbroken. Go the Sharks go, says Wendy. Another change for the Sharks. Botkita is making his way on, and that's going to be for the try scorer, Maviseri. And I make poor rugby by both teams, however, we don't deserve to win, given the opportunity they had. Says Regine. Are we back to 15? 15 players on the field now for the Sharks. Maviseri gets a big hug from his teammates. Oh, okay. He fell on the floor. They thought that maybe he thought he had a chair underneath him. But nah, he's all good. He just wanted to sit down. He's had a big game. Now, Sia Masuku kicks it high. Yapinke chasing after it. Oh, miscommunication at the back from the Bulls. They've injured each other. And the try is scored by Yapinke. He deserves one. He's had a fantastic game. And that is now a bonus point on the board for the Sharks, ladies and gentlemen. They could get the full 5 from this fixture, but that pretty much summed up the Bulls' performance. 2 men going up for the ball, no calling, and dropping it down. And then Pinker goes up. Yeah, Sergio Peterson had the low route. Over the top was Devin Williams, and yeah, neither of them taking it. Pinker just waiting patiently. Bounce of the ball works in his favour and scores the well-deserved try. And yippee Sharks, says Marion O'Dear, says Jimbo, and yes, the Sharks, says Aniki in there as well. Now, Sia Masuku to line up this one. This is going to increase the points differential big time here for the Sharks. Oh, bit of a slip there for Masuku. Still gets it down the middle. Now in the coffin, I'm becoming vegan after this, says George. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, current table. Sharks with the win here, they will move up to 34 points. So they will be right on the heels of the Bulls. I think both Devin Williams and Sergio Peterson are going to continue in this game, but yeah, just not the best at the back, Hamish. Can the clock go quicker? Surely it's the same speed, or should be, says Kevin. And what are the people, or where are the people that said the Sharks stood no chance? Lol, says 9HD. Is Jordan still on? I don't think so. That looked like Jaco Williams kicking that ball up. So I think they may have taken Hendrickson off. Here comes the counter-attack from Dianti. Now counter-ruck from the Sharks. It's as if getting all those penalties against them has actually fired them up. Now offloaded. Dianti with the little chip in behind. Does go into touch though. Running and hiding after, but I'm still here, says George. Clock is ticking quicker and quicker. Now 4 minutes left on the clock for these sides. It was touched by the Sharks, which means the Bulls do still have an attacking chance. What was the win prediction again? Says Lily B. Earlier on in the game, when the score was 7-7, the score or win predictor on the actual rugby, the URC, had 80% chance that the Bulls were going to win when it was 7-all. So, I mean, that definitely was wrong. And shame on you, Bulls. Congrats, Sharks. Sharks will rock, says Wendy. And good job with the Sharks, says Roy. And Bulls won't make the playoffs. They will. They've got enough points on the board that couple wins here and there and they'll still have enough. But it's whether or not they'll have those home finals that they're after. That'll be the big one. Now going to be thrown in. Nicely claimed at the back from Johan Rubela. The Bulls do still have time to get 2 bonus points from this game. They would need 2 tries. And then that would put them within the 7. And I won my bet, says Chantel. Congratulations. You're back to your side. I assume you just picked Sharks to win rather than anything fancier than that. Now around the side again. The picking goes from the Bulls. Now another advantage going against the Sharks. Their discipline's actually been pretty good in the last 15 minutes or so, ever since they got another last warning from the ref. They are still playing the advantage. Zach Berger looking both ways, trying to find that next passing option. The Sharks team got serious potential, and look, I've just joined. I wish the Bulls would win, but heck, I know how good the Sharks are, says Original Venoms, and all the betting Sharks fans are happy. Now wide cut-out pass, Sergio Peterson, just short of the try line again. Kanan Moody, thinking about the pick and go. He is far too small to be doing that. He's been driven backwards a couple metres for his trouble. Weather forecast guy started stripping folks, says JD. Gumedi, still 3 metres out from the line and still playing under penalty advantage here for the Bulls. Little bit of a slip there for Ntatuko Machunu. Now pick and go again from Robela, just short of line. Zach Berger, he sees the calling for it. Out wide, this has to be a try for the Bulls. All Sergio Peterson has to do. Oh, it's dropped by Dianti. And once again, that pretty much summarises. Oh no. Oh. Did Dianti just do his hamstring? That was a weird one. He was chasing after Yapinke after the penalty was given, and he just pretty much pulled up. Hopefully it's going to be all right. But yeah, did not look good. Yeah, he is down. It might be a knee, in fact. But chasing after Yapinke after the penalty had already been given. And this does not look good for him. Yeah, or... See, I thought it was knee when he was holding there before, but now he's back to the hamstring. It might not be good for Dianti. Right, quick tap is taken. And now, sitting only a few metres out from the try line, Zach Berger goes across Nasim Carr to Kanan Moody. This is great goal line defence here from the Sharks. And they said that the Sharks team was too weak for the Bulls, says Lilia B, and Sharks are my team forever, says Craig. Jake White definitely going to be doing the blame game. Bulls lost fair and square. Now, what's the injury count in this game? I believe we're up to about 4. That's a nice bit of work from Johan Rubela. And he will go through for the 3rd try of the match for the Bulls. They still have time. They can't win this game theoretically, but they can get the bonus point for being within 7 and for also getting 4 tries. There won't be any fit players left in South Africa, says Jimbo. Big spanking on both bum cheeks of the Bulls, says George. How many minutes are left? Just the 3 at the moment are remaining. Not a lot of time left to work with. And Blue Bull Steaks are so tasty, says Neville. Great comes again, Hamish, old son. Thanks a ton, mate. Says Graham. And yeah, thank you all very much for being here. Of course, we've still got a couple more minutes left of this match, but I should mention next weekend it is going to be hectic. We've got the URC match between, I believe it is going to be the Bulls and the Lions. Then from there, we have got the next match that has taken place, or the next group of matches, which is the Six Nations. We're also going to be doing Super Rugby, and then we've also got the Vancouver Sevens. So more than likely, I'm going to be doing the 40 hours awake, 3 hours of sleep for the next weekend. I'm also playing cricket, I believe, on Saturday, so she's going to be a busy old time on the channel. But if you are new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Another penalty goes the way of the Bulls. They're inside of their own 22, but they can now move their way down. Looks like Bjorta Chamberlain, not wasting any time, has to make sure this ball goes out and does just that. Thank you, Hamish, says Madigan. And also we go, there go, the Sharks go. From Rochelle, and also well done, Sharks. Potential is huge, goes to show and Eben is not the Sharks. Sharks is the Sharks, well done, says Willem. Yeah, Diante's gone off, so he was chasing after, and then, he really does hyperextend that knee or something, but he's gone off, and Jan Hendrik Vessels is on to replace him as that utility player that he can be. He's probably playing on the wing at the moment, I agree, George, but the Sharks and the Bulls need to be good enough to beat Leinster or Glasgow come the semis. Now kicking it downfield, Lucanio looking for that 50-22 attempt. A little bit of a slip at the back from Zach Berger. Oh, he's isolated himself and he's wrestled into touch. Poor decision made from the replacement halfback. You're a madman, says Pie Man. Yeah, to be fair, we've done it a few times on the channel though, so we're kind of used to it now. But yeah, I'll certainly need a recovery day afterwards, I would say. Bulls trying to get 2 points, says Dominique. Yeah, at the moment, they are still not quite there. They've got 40 seconds to score once. Yeah, just showing the overall standings. So with the way that this game sits, the Bulls would be on 36 points. And then the Sharks will be on 33. Is that correct? 33, they say the Sharks will be on. I have it as they'd be on 34 because of that bonus point that they received. And the Bulls also wouldn't get a point. So I don't know what table's correct, but either way, the Bulls will still be in third and the Sharks will be in fourth. Another penalty this time goes the way of the Sharks. What do they do now? They're 10 points up. That is the siren. So I think, they're going for the post. Vincent Tachuka says that. But I think you just take a tap and kick that ball into touch here. And Leinster so far ahead, G's. And Six Nations next week, prediction Wales will lose. Warren Gatland has left Wales, and I think Jake White might leave Pretoria. Right, what are they going to do here? Sia Masuku. The decision is... Oh no. Mavaseri gets mad of the match. And they will kick that ball out. And the Sharks are victorious away from home at Loftus. 29 points to 19. It's not too often sides beat the Bulls at home, but I've just managed to pull off that victory. Guess what I'm having for dinner, says Pie Man. I would assume the pie, if I had to guess from your name. Can this be the Sharks season? Well, they're certainly sitting nicely after that game. They needed the win. They got the job done, and they get the full 5 points available just to add a bit more into it as well. And both the Sharks and Lions won today, yay, says 9HD. And also we got the Hamish is there. And I know right Sharky, says Cynthia. But yeah, I just can't fathom the fact that they had 3 men off the field with yellow cards, the Sharks, and the Bulls didn't score throughout that time. They weren't the best with their decision making. Sharks' discipline was poor, but they still won this game by 10. Another awesome stream, Hamish. Catch you in the next weekend, bro. Congrats, Sharks. I think we are playing too much rugby. Says Original Venom. And Blue Ball Stakes all round, says Jason. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. It has been greatly appreciated. Everyone being here over the weekends. A big hug for Maveseri, who does get himself the man of the match. But looking through at what is next week, Bulls will be taking on the Lions. The Six Nations will be back. Super Rugby as well. The Vancouver Sevens also here. So of the Super Rugby games next week, I'm hoping to cover a majority of them. Chiefs Crusaders on the Friday night. Reds Moana Pacifica after that. Then there's Hurricanes Drua, Highlanders Blues, and Brumbies versus the Force for the Six Nations side of things, because of course that competition is coming back as well. And there's going to be Wales versus Ireland, England versus Scotland, and Italy versus France. So still plenty more action coming up. And then yeah, Future Pizza says, Pie Man, nice choice. What a game, too much stopping though. Well done the Sharks. Winning at Loftus is extra sweet. Thanks, Hamish. And go the Sharks. Thanks for the commentary. See you soon. Says Martin. And there too. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.